Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It's episode 24 and today we're starting things off outside this thing right here, which by the look of things, it's had some things nicked from it. Somebody's come along and they've stolen a load of the redstone supplies and the iron blocks. I built that thing out of iron blocks because I didn't have any other blocks on me and somebody's come along and nicked them. Well, that's not particularly brilliant, but well, at the start of this episode, I just want to say, regarding the NHO and the Viva la Revolution stuff, I am staying neutral. I'm actually staying out. I'm staying out of that entire thing, okay? That's not something that really is kind of part of my videos. It's not something that I'm going to be featuring particularly very often, so I am going to be staying neutral. I'm not going to be getting involved in anything like that. I just built this thing, hopefully, to get them back for building all of the banners, but it totally didn't work. The flying machine didn't take off, and well, the redstone's all been stolen, so it's not particularly brilliant. Now, by the look of things, my elytra have actually run out, so we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. I'm gonna have to try and navigate my way back over to B00's base, and hopefully not get absolutely destroyed by every single mob under the sun. And there seems to be lots of skeletons there, and skeletons are by far my least favorite mob. I am so out of here. I just want to say that B00's house, although it looks absolutely lovely, is the most confusing thing I have ever been in. I'm totally lost. The guy's just got things everywhere. Anyway, now that we've managed to return home, I think the first thing that I want to do in today's Hermitcraft episode is a little bit of cave lighting. We did it recently, and it has seriously improved the efficiency of the Guardian farm, but there's still a whole ton of caves that we need to light up to make this thing totally ridiculous. So let's crack on with that one. So in today's Timelapse chat, I want to talk to you about some very exciting news. Now this is exciting for me, potentially not very exciting for you, but before I talk about this, I just want to say massive thank you to everyone that has been getting the bundles. It is doing extremely well, and I just thought I'd push it once again for those of you who haven't heard about the Mumbo bundles that have come out. T-shirt, and also cool little plushie thing, and a hand sign poster, all covered in beautiful artwork that thankfully wasn't designed by me. I'll put pictures on the screen right now. But anyway, the exciting news is that after 5 years of running this YouTube channel, I have used After Effects as my editing program, which is really silly, okay, because After Effects isn't necessarily an editing program, it's a program for special effects. You know, all those crazy effects that you see in movies, like the explosions and all the green screen stuff and everything, all the CGI, all of that is done in Adobe After Effects. That's where you do it, and that's what that program is designed for. Now, for some reason, I don't know how this came about, but I ended up editing all of my videos in that. Simply because I really liked my ability to whoosh between clips. You know my whoosh transition? You know that one? Where it's all nice and it's got motion blur and everything like that? Well, I stuck with After Effects because it allowed me to use my intros and outros and have all of those editable, and then obviously all the whooshes. But the issue is that that thing takes ages to render. It's a pretty clunky thing. It works in layers as opposed to a timeline. It's just a bit of a pain in the backside. And this weekend I finally sat down and I finally made the switch over into Premiere Pro. I've been using Premiere Pro for years. I use it for all of the films and all of the vlogs that I do. That's where I do Premiere Pro. The only place that I don't do it is from the Minecraft videos, and I finally switched over. I finally worked out how to do my transition, and now I'm editing in it, and it's the best thing ever. And seriously, my render times have dropped from being like 2 to 3 hours down to like 20 minutes, and it's amazing. So I'm really happy, and I just thought I'd share it with you. I hope you enjoyed. Let's get back onto the Hermitcraft server. Finally, after about 2.5 hours of cave lighting, I've managed to do everything in the local area. So we have got pretty much every single cave and every single dark spot near to our Guardian farm. And that is something that I'm very happy with. And I have just gone past the Guardian farm and it is pumping out the Guardians. But now I'm just trying to work out how to get home from this tiny little cave that I've gone into. Now, if you're interested in seeing how much I've done, this should give you a pretty good idea. We've got fairly decent coverage around the Guardian farm. This place is actually really cavey. There was caves everywhere. And for the most part, bar little things like this, I would say we're good. We are pretty good. Wow, that looks fantastic. Now, I'm going to be totally honest here. The Guardians aren't exactly flying in. Thanks to Joe Hills just recently joining, I think he's kind of killed the mob cap just a little bit, which means that this thing isn't being ridiculously efficient, but it's still being half decent. I mean, we've got a decent flow of Guardians coming in. Earlier, though, it was like a bombardment. It was insane. These things were struggling to keep up. It was all very, very cool. Anyway, we're going to move on from this and start work on the next project. So, for the next part of this episode, we're going to be doing something quite special and also really, really important. For those of you who can't tell what is going on right here, I have actually mapped out the area that we have underneath our ocean monument. So this right here is the area where all of the Guardians are getting killed off. And as you can see, all of that is mapped out, including the storage system right there. So all of the redstone is included in this space. But we have got all of this empty space going around like this, and we also have this much space to play with vertically. Now, as you know, this season I'm doing a completely different type of storage system, something that I've never really done before. I'm going to be splitting up all of my different storages into different rooms or kind of caves. And I was going to build this in today's Hermitcraft episode, but my brain has just been muddling and I just can't work out how to do it. And the best thing that you can possibly do on big projects like this, because this really, really matters, is to plan them out in creative mode. So I'm going to try my best to take you along with me. Okay, so this is kind of like my idea for room number 1. As you can probably tell, I have gone for like a redstone-y theme, and I'm just going to try my best to create like a big kind of redstone mess, ready block mess going around in this sort of direction, and then we'll have some arches which will take us through into the next room. I'm very glad I planned this, by the way, because just this sort of section, the amount of times I've destroyed it and started again and destroyed it and started again, I can tell this is going to be like one of those projects that we're going to have to just really go to town on this. Okay, I think as far as I can tell, there's nothing really more I want to add in. This is going to be the redstone section of our like crazy storage room caves that we're going to have going around the place. And it looks mega. It looks so good. So in case you don't know, every single one of these sets of chests needs to be 3 blocks apart due to the way that we're doing the storage system. We're using Tango text design. And that means that we have got a lot of chests for redstone here. This is huge. This is way more than we're probably ever going to need. We're going to have chests for redstone blocks. We're going to have comparators, pistons. I think slime blocks are going to be in there as well. Basically, anything that I use for doing redstone will be going into these chests, and it will kind of be bulk stored inside this area right here. So all the redstone components, everything is going to be in all of those chests. Okay, this looks epic. I absolutely love this idea. I guess the next one, we'll probably make one for all the different types of stone and things like that, and that's going to be slightly bigger. So we're going to leave a couple blocks between, and then it will kind of, I guess it will just transition. So we'll have to add in some slightly different blocks in here and just see if we can make like a nice blend between the two sections. And this will be like stone, dirt, diorite, grass, all that sort of thing running up into all the ceiling. But don't worry, Iskal, I'm not actually going to place any diorite in this room. I'm kind of struggling with this one because I'm very conscious of the fact that this thing right there is going to be here, and I don't want to leave too much space between this one and this one, or I don't want to leave too little space so I can't put a module here. I'm considering expanding it out over to here and then having some chests kind of in this sort of area, and then having it go across a bit like that. That might actually be a good idea, because I imagine the redstone for this thing is probably actually going to stick out, yeah, probably about back to there. So we can have like some chests that are on this side as well, and all of these are going to be for stone and cobblestone, and then we'll have the boundary running across like that, and then we'll have another cave for things over in this area. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That seems like a good solution to that problem. And this is what the solution is looking like so far. So there is the redstone room, that's still over there. We kind of have an entrance into what is going to be this storage area. I have no clue what this storage area is going to be, because that's going to have to be quite a big one right there. But we kind of have like a really nice organic cave forming, And I think that's just the theme that I'm going to use for every single other room. So they're all going to be like these nice, organic, kind of crazy arches running through. And we're going to have like a big tunnel run going round the outside of this thing right here. Yeah, this is going to be awesome. I'm really, really happy with this already. And we only have like 1.5 of the modules. The stone section is now done. We have got a full stone section going all the way through. This one took a long time. It took a really, really long time to plan out in creative mode, so I have no clue how many hours it is going to take to do in survival mode. This is going to be one of those multi-episode projects we're probably going to work on over the course of a month or so. But next, we're going to have this area over here. This is going to be for all the precious blocks, like diamonds and iron and things like that. And I thought it could have its own tiny little zone just off in this corner, and then we could have like the wood zone, which will make its way through here and be pretty big. I like this. I really like this idea. I've got a massive beaming smile on my face. And that is this area done as well. We really are knocking them down. So that's going to be all the precious stuff. We've got some obsidian down on the floor. Basically, it's meant to look like a cave almost. I know all of this is meant to look like a cave, but this is meant to look like a real cave. So that kind of drops in there. And then, as I say, we've got this zone here that has been laid out for all of the wood. And it's going to be quite a big one. I'm almost thinking that maybe we could have chests on either side. Because if we had chests here, they'd kind of have to be over here, and that's pulling it in a little bit. No, I think I'll just have them on one side. It will just be a really big and grand room. Now, the wood one has been a much bigger challenge so far. I do like the way that it's coming together. I really, really do like the way it's coming together. I think it looks cool. It is going to require tons of wood. The only issue with building things in creative mode first is that you lose the fact that every single one of these blocks right here that I'm placing, I am in fact going to have to go and gather up. But that looks really, really cool. And then I think what we'll have is we'll have an arch going over in this direction that I'm just using completely random blocks for, and that will go up and over to around about here, I guess. Just up and over like that. And that will be the end of the wood section. And then, what's going to come next after that? We have like colourful blocks, nether, we've got greenery and harvestables, prismarine, which we actually already have, mob drops, and that's about it. Is there anything that I'm forgetting? Oh, the nether. We have a lot of space for those relatively small sections. I've actually made the storage system too small. I wasn't expecting that. Now that the wood section is all planned out, I think I have a rough idea of what I'm actually going to do for this entire area. So this is going to be a massive section for all of the harvestables, because obviously we're going to have a lot of farms, we're going to have tons of those items, so we're going to need a lot of space for those. So we're going to have that, and then we're going to have mob drops, so that ticks that one off the list, and maybe like an ice and snow section right at the very end. And then on this side we're going to have coloured blocks and also the nether section. And I think that's it. Yeah, so that is the plan. That's what we're going to be doing for the storage. We've now worked it out. The greenery is difficult. Oh, I'm not liking anything that I'm doing in this section. I've tried arches going across the top out of wood, and they're not working. I've tried placing green, just green. That's not looking good. Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe I could just create like a big bush. Just all the way around. No, that's horrible. That's disgusting. Ah! Good news! I've come up with an idea that I quite like. We're sticking with the big bush idea, but instead of having just a big bush, we're going to have wood behind it. So we've got all of the wood going up like this. We've got the arches going across, so I basically combined a whole bunch of ideas. We've got the arches going across the top, arches going back there. We have all of this standard regular wood, some fence posts and things like that, but also all of the leaves. And the leaves play a really big part, and I am really, really liking this. I'm so glad I've decided to do this kind of creative episode right here. I've done a few of these in the past. They're so helpful. If I had flown in blind, it would have been horrible. Now that the entire greenery section is done and it's looking really cool, I think it's about time that we start work on the mob section. And I was really struggling with ideas for this one. This is something that I couldn't think of. I was going to use bone blocks, and then I was like, yeah, that's not particularly very brilliant. I could potentially mess around with doing like blood red going up the walls as if I've killed loads of mobs. And then I sort of thought to myself, why don't I try and make like a dungeon? So we're going to have almost like a stronghold section right here, which is going to travel through, and we're going to try our best to get the feeling of a stronghold in this tiny little area. Obviously, mob drops isn't going to be a massive part of the storage system, so we don't really have too much space to play with here, and it's probably going to be quite difficult to do the archway. I imagine in terms of archways, we'll probably have either one coming from here and just going up and over like a completely linear one, or we'll have one kind of going across, a bit like the ones that we've been doing here-ish? I swear I did one just recently. Yeah, there's one that goes kind of up and over like that, but I think in the wooden room, we have a few that kind of come out and go up and across. I mean, working in organic shapes, I am not someone that ever really does it. I'm always very geometric, so this is like all entirely new to me. But I think, yeah, maybe just one coming up and over like this, because that's kind of on an angle, that gives this room quite a nice shape anyway. So now that the actual framework's done, I'm kind of spamming about some iron bars here and there, just making sure that this thing looks semi-convincing. I have to say, I've been in such a massive building mood today. I've been building all day. So this is what I've been doing all day, and I have been loving it. Generally speaking, I absolutely dread building, but I woke up this morning, I hopped straight onto Minecraft, and I was like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. I know what I'm doing. And things are actually coming together quite nicely here. Sweet! Okay, next up, we have got the coloured blocks. And then we have the miscellaneous, and then we have the nether. That is actually a little bit difficult. We actually have a lot more space than I kind of bargained for. So maybe nether on that side, and then miscellaneous in like a big section over there. And then the different colour blocks can just go over here. Yeah, that's good. Now the nether one is another one that is just super, super difficult. I think... oh my gosh, we're going to need to break up that colour. This is not the prettiest one. But nether stuff never really is. Ooh, okay, this is the first one that I actually don't like. I love all of the other ones. This one is... I have no clue what to do with it. Oh, this is really tough. I don't want to make it too dark. But the colours are so, like, offensively crazy. Tango Tech is doing such a good job with the nether stuff. Ooh, maybe I can make the floor lava. I'm going to be honest, for the miscellaneous section, I kind of decided to go for something completely different. And we're having some acacia and some orange, simply because, you know, we don't really have any of that in the design so far. I thought that kind of makes sense to have dotted around. So we're making use of all the different colours, and I'm just trying my best to create a shape that looks really cool. I must admit, because I've spent so long building these arches and things like that, I'm finding it hard to be creative with them. You know, when you've done something for so long during the day, you kind of fall into a rhythm. It's like if you say a word too many times, it stops sounding like a word. I'm building a lot of arches. My arches are stopping looking like arches, and I'm starting to do new different types of ones, and I don't even know if I like that one that much. I feel like it's a little bit too... Maybe we should have an arch coming out here as well that is a kind of middle arch that goes into the center of this thing. Oh, that's not good. Maybe something a little bit like that. No, that's dipping way too much. Oh, we're in a bit of a tricky one here, because I kind of want it to run up like this, and then it could run across there. That's better, but I want some angle in that one. So maybe a little bit like that. That looks quite cool. That looks quite cool, actually. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then when we build up the area around it and make it all look nice around this thing, that should end up looking okay, actually. I've spent about an hour in total on this little orange bit alone, and I really don't know what to think about it. I'm kind of struggling with it. I've redesigned a lot of this section, so I think the last cut we had this area right here, but it's just this zone. I don't know how to, because this is where the entrance is going to be. So the entrance is going to come in on this side, and this is where you're going to get into the actual storage system. So this is actually the first room that you're going to see, unless of course you go through the other edge. I just don't know what to say. I don't know if I've got the wrong blocks. Maybe I don't really like the orange. I don't know if I don't like the shapes. Let me know down in the comment section. This is the one that I've been most worried about this entire time. I've kind of been putting this off for the entire day of me building this. I really didn't want to build this one. It's the coloured block section. Now, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to make something that looks kind of cool here. And I'm kind of pulling it off. It doesn't help that it's next to this thing right here. But man, is it difficult. Oh man. Final finishing touches going in now. This is it, and there we go. That is... yeah, that is the storage room pretty much all done. Just a little bit of orange glass, and there it is. So this is the full design of the entire thing. We have got the colourful area, we've got the nether area, the wooden area, the redstone area, the precious area, all of the different types of stone, cobblestone, dirt, and things like that, which has spawned a whole bunch of animals. We have got the mob drops area, which is a dungeon, and we have got the miscellaneous items area. I sincerely hope I haven't forgotten a whole bunch of blocks here. I think we should be okay. I suppose end is kind of, but that's sort of miscellaneous, so we don't have to worry about that too much. I think we're all good. Yeah. I actually think we're all good here. I think we've managed to do it, and this is what it looks like from the outside. Now, I have to say, I do kind of apologise for this slightly strange episode of Hermitcraft. I really wasn't expecting this building process right here to take such a long time. It has taken me all day. I got into the studio at about 7 o'clock in the morning right now, and it has taken me the full day. It has taken me the full day. I don't have any time left to do anything else today, which is, yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. But I'm so glad that we decided to do this in creative mode beforehand. I'm really glad that I was able to sit down and actually make the time to design this in a way that I'm happy with. Because if I had just gone in on the Hermitcraft server and just started building this underneath the ocean monument in that big open area, it wouldn't have looked good. I wouldn't have been able to do such a good job. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start gathering up some resources, start working out how we're going to get all the resources to do this, because some of these things are pretty ridiculous, and I guess we're going to have to start the slow process of creating the storage room over the next handful of episodes of Hermitcraft. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please sure to that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.